Oh, my dears, let me tell you something that still sends chills down my old spine. I was sitting in that dusty lawyer's office in our little town of Willow Creek, Missouri. The air thick with tension. My son, Robert, and his wife, Sandra, oh, she always had that smug smile plastered on her face. They were there, eyes gleaming like they'd won the lottery. The lawyer, Mr. Hargrove, cleared his throat and read from my late husband's will to my beloved wife, Eleanor. And then the words that changed everything. Sandra's smile vanished forever. She turned pale as a ghost, her lips trembling. "This can't be right," she gasped. "I thought it was the end of my world. But wait, my love, it was just the beginning of a storm I never saw coming. Keep listening. You won't believe what happened next. Now, let me take you back a bit, way back to when life was simpler in Willow Creek. I'm Auntie Eleanor, you see. 82 years young now, but back then, I was just a wide-eyed girl from a farm family. I met my husband George at the county fair in 1960. He was tall, with that easy laugh. Oh, how he made my heart flutter. We built our life together on that old Victorian house on Maple Street, the one with the wraparound porch where we'd sip lemonade on summer evenings. George worked at the mill, and I raised our 2 children, Robert, our boy, who's now 55, and little Mary, who passed too soon from that awful accident when she was just 23. Breaks my heart, even now. We weren't rich, mind you, but we had love, and George saved every penny for our future. He promised me, "Ellie, this house will always be yours, our legacy." Robert grew up strong, married Sandra. She was from the city, St. Louis way, always talking about big dreams and fancy cars. At first, I welcomed her like my own daughter, baked her apple pies, shared family recipes, but over the years, things changed. George got sick with that lung disease from the mill dust, and I nursed him for 5 long years until he slipped away last spring. The funeral was quiet, just us in the town cemetery, under those blooming dogwoods. After George was gone, Robert and Sandra started visiting more, but not in a kind way. They'd hint about the house being too big for me alone. "Mom, maybe it's time for a nursing home," Robert would say, his eyes avoiding mine. Sandra would nod, that smile of hers like a cat who'd caught the canary. I felt it in my bones. Something wasn't right, but I pushed it aside, thinking family sticks together. Oh, how wrong I was. But then, one rainy afternoon, while sorting through George's old desk drawers, I found an old letter, yellowed with age. It was addressed to me, in his handwriting. My hands shook as I opened it, and what I read inside, a shocking secret that could tear our family apart. What was in that letter, you ask? Hold on, dears. I'll tell you. But first, let's see how it all unraveled. The letter. Oh, it was from George, written years ago when he first got sick. He confessed he'd changed his will in secret, not leaving everything to Robert like we'd planned. "Ellie," it said, "I've seen how Sandra pushes Robert. She's after our home for her real estate schemes. Protect yourself, my love." My heart pounded. Betrayal? From my own son? I confronted Robert that evening over dinner at the house. "Son, what's this about selling the place?" I asked, my voice steady, despite the tremble inside. He laughed it off at first. "Mom, you're imagining things." But Sandra, her eyes narrowed. "Eleanor, you're getting old. Maybe it's time we handle the finances." Handle them? I'd managed our books for decades. That night, I heard them whispering in the guest room. Plans to declare me unfit, to force me out. The betrayal cut deep, like a knife in my back. I cried myself to sleep, wondering if I'd lose everything George and I built. But what happened the next day? Robert showed up with papers. "Sign here, Mom. It's for your own good." I stared at them. Guardianship forms. No way. Then the phone rang. It was the lawyer, Mr. Hargrove, with urgent news. "Mrs. Thompson, you need to come in right away." What could it be? Keep watching, my dears. This is where the real drama begins. I drove to Mr. Hargrove's office on Main Street, my old Buick rattling along the familiar roads lined with oak trees. The town hadn't changed much. The diner where George and I had our first date, the library where I volunteered. But inside, I felt neglected, forgotten by my own flesh and blood. Mr. Hargrove, a kind man with wire-rimmed glasses, sat me down. "Your husband updated his will 6 months before he passed," he said. "He left the house and most assets to you, with a trust for Robert only after your passing." I gasped. Relief washed over me, but then the neglect hit harder. Why hadn't Robert told me? Turns out, Sandra had been pushing him to contest it, claiming George wasn't in his right mind. They'd neglected me during George's illness too, rarely visiting, leaving me to handle the doctors, the bills, the endless nights alone. "They want it all now," Mr. Hargrove warned. "Be careful." I left feeling a fire in my belly. No more nice Auntie Eleanor. Back home, Sandra cornered me in the kitchen. "Eleanor, let's be reasonable. That house is worth a fortune now with the new developments in town." Her voice was sweet poison. I felt the neglect in every word. They hadn't called on my birthday, hadn't helped with the garden George loved. It built up, the tension like a storm cloud over Willow Creek. Then, just as I was about to respond, the doorbell rang. It was my old friend, Mabel from church, with a worried look. "Ellie, I overheard Sandra at the beauty parlor. She's planning something big." What was her scheme? Don't go anywhere. The lawyer drama is about to explode. Mabel spilled it all over tea in my cozy living room, with the grandfather clock ticking like a heartbeat. Sandra had been consulting another lawyer in St. Louis, trying to dig up dirt on George's mental state. "She's saying he had dementia," Mabel whispered. "Dementia?" George was sharp as a tack till the end. The lawyer drama unfolded like a bad soap opera. I called Mr. Hargrove back, and he confirmed it. Sandra's lawyer had filed a challenge to the will. We met in his office again, papers scattered like fallen leaves. "This could go to court," he said gravely. "But we have evidence, doctor's notes, witnesses." I nodded, but inside, the drama weighed heavy. Robert called that night, pleading, "Mom, Sandra's just looking out for us." Looking out? More like scheming. The town buzzed with gossip. At the grocery store, folks whispered about the Thompson family feud. I felt exposed, vulnerable in my own small town. But I dug in my heels. I hired a private investigator. Yes, this old lady did, to check Sandra's background. Turns out she had a history of shady real estate deals back in the city. The drama escalated. Court dates loomed, and I prepared for battle. During the first hearing in the county courthouse, with its creaky wooden benches, the judge asked for proof. Sandra's lawyer presented falsified documents. But wait, Mr. Hargrove stood up. "Your Honor, this is impossible." What did he reveal? Hang on tight, the twist is coming. The impossible? Those documents were forgeries. Mr. Hargrove had originals from George's safe deposit box. Sandra's face turned red. But she doubled down, accusing me of manipulating George. More betrayal. My own daughter-in-law painting me as the villain. Robert sat silent, head down. The neglect from him hurt most. He'd chosen her over me. As weeks dragged on, I faced isolation. Friends like Mabel rallied, bringing casseroles. But the family rift deepened. Sandra spread rumors. "Eleanor's losing it, poor thing." I found strength in George's letter, reading it nightly by lamplight. The conflicts piled up. Another hearing where witnesses testified to George's soundness. But Sandra's side brought in a paid expert. The tension rose. I wondered if I'd win. One evening, alone on the porch, watching fireflies, I got a call from an unexpected ally. Robert's old high school friend, now a detective in town. "This is Thompson. I have proof of Sandra's fraud." My heart leaped. Empowerment stirring, but just as hope flickered, Sandra showed up at my door, tears in her eyes. "Eleanor, let's talk." Was it a trap? Her plan seemed to fail, but there was a twist. What did she say? "Keep listening. We're heading to the climax." Sandra sat across from me at the kitchen table, the same one where we'd shared holidays. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "It was all a mistake." Mistake? I didn't buy it, and neither did the evidence from the detective. Turns out, Sandra had embezzled from her old job. That's why she needed our house money quick. Twist after twist. Robert knew bits, but was too scared to speak up. I confronted him next day, at his job at the auto shop. "Son, why?" Tears welled in his eyes. "She threatened to leave me, Mom." The buildup was intense. Court loomed larger. Mr. Hargrove prepared a bombshell. George's video will, recorded secretly. In the packed courtroom, under the fluorescent lights, the video played. George, looking frail but determined. "If anyone's contesting this, know I did it with full mind. Ellie gets it all." Gasps echoed. Sandra's lawyer stammered. The tide turned, but another twist. Sandra claimed the video was doctored. Accusations flew. The judge called a recess. Tension palpable. I prayed silently, clutching George's locket. Empowerment rose, from betrayed widow to fierce protector. During recess, Robert pulled me aside in the hallway. "Mom, I found something in Sandra's emails. Proof of her plotting with shady investors to flip our house." We handed it over. The climax built like a crescendo. Back in session, Mr. Hargrove presented the emails. The judge's eyes widened. "This changes everything!" Everyone was watching. What would happen next? The suspense is killing me even now. Stay with me. What happened? The judge ruled the challenge invalid, fraud proven. Sandra's lawyer withdrew, her scheme crumbling. But the biggest twist, Robert testified against her. I can't let this destroy my mom. My boy, finally standing up. Tears streamed down my face. Sandra stormed out, but not before one last glare. You'll regret this. The courtroom buzzed, justice inching closer. I felt a quiet revenge, not loud, but satisfying, like reclaiming my peace. Yet another turn. Police got involved, charging Sandra with forgery. Robert filed for divorce. Our family mending slowly. I visited Mary's grave, telling her, "It's okay now, sweetie." As the dust settled, I thought it was over. But one final envelope arrived from Mr. Hargrove. "Open this alone," it said. What was inside? The ultimate twist. Hold your breath. Inside, a codicil to the will. George had left a secret fund for me. Enough to travel, to live freely. For your adventures. Ellie, it read. Justice served. Revenge quiet. Sandra lost everything, moving back to St. Louis in shame. Robert and I rebuilt. He helps with the garden now. No more neglect. Oh, my dears, this taught me a powerful lesson. Family's precious, but protect your heart. Betrayal hurts, but empowerment heals. Stand firm like I did in Willow Creek. If you've ever faced something similar, know you're not alone. If you stayed hooked till the end, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more tales from Auntie Eleanor. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next one.